Yo guys, it's Slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you guys my Week 8 battle for the Battle Union Season 3 against Pokemon Trip HD and the Dallas Staravias. Now, there is a lot to get into this week, so we are going to kind of rapid fire this intro. So, essentially, if I beat Trip, we'd be in first place. We'll be in first place if we beat him. If we lose, then we lose, but we still make it to playoffs. I'm pretty sure we're guaranteed no matter what to make it to playoffs. So, yeah, that's the type of week that we are having. We played Trip last season in the playoffs, which we lost to him, and then he went on to win the championship. So, got a little bit of personal vendetta against him, but his team is really spooky. So, team analysis video went up yesterday. Make sure you go watch that, because there are definitely some more in-depth thoughts if you guys want to hear everything, as well as I have a few tricks up my sleeve for this game. So, alright, basically let's talk about the team. What I brought Electivire, Dedicated Lead with Thunder Wave and Red Card, and Volt Switch and Thunder Punch and Protect for Mega Lopunny, so it doesn't just like fake out and stuff like that. Then I have a Scarfed Slurpuff, so those are the two main shenanigans right there. Scarfed Special Slurpuff, Dazzling Gleam, Surf, Flamethrower, and Heal Bell. A Specially Defensive Porygon 2 with the Physically Defensive Mega Venusaur. Nothing crazy there. Choice Banded Arcanine. And a Physically Defensive Tailglow Manaphy. That is what I decided to bring. Reasonings and all that good stuff, you can go ahead and see that in the team analysis video. Short story of it is that we may play Trip again in the playoffs, so if we reveal all of our tricks, it's not necessarily great. We want to save some stuff for possibly our next match, and if we do play again in the playoffs, that match will mean more. So, there's that. What Trip decided to bring. I basically got everything right that I thought he would bring, except for Vaporeon. I really did not think Vaporeon was coming, especially along with Umbreon. I really thought it would only be one or the other, but he brought both. He brought the Mew, he brought the Entei, and the Mega Lopunny, of course. Those were, that was definitely happening. And he brought the Tangrowth. That just means that there was no Avalugg, there was no Kyurem. That was the one that I was kind of surprised about. And there was no, I'm looking through my papers because I wrote his team down when I fought him, and now I actually don't remember what that last mon that he didn't bring against me was. So if I could find that in the next 3 seconds, that'd be super cool. Oh, I found it. JK, I just wrote down the team that he brought. So there's one other mon that he didn't bring against me, so yeah, that. I just don't remember what it is. Oh, I know how I can find it. Freaking, I have the whole team written down right here in my little team planning thing that I do, notes section on my phone, because that's how professionals do it. But yeah, so the other mon that he did not bring was Moltres. Duh, of course, Moltres. It's literally flames. So, yeah, I'm not really knowing too much about what Trip's going to be doing. But yeah, so we are going to get into the match. However, this match could not be a simple game. Basically, partway through the game, we DC'd. And, of course, because of that, we had to recreate the match. And because of that, we had to do a lot of plays differently. However, MVP of the day, Mr. Trip himself, was live recording, so we have the battle footage of the original battle. However, it is going to be from Trip's perspective. So, I'm going to go ahead and play the battle starting from Trip's perspective, and then when we DC, obviously we'll get that, and then we'll switch over to post-com. So this is going to be a really weird live comm on Trip's side, transitioning to post-com on my side. This is how it's going to be, but yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the battle. Alright, so, to start off the match, of course, I went off with my Electivire, which is the Dedicated Lead, and he starts off with his Mew, and I have no idea what Mew's going to do. I'm kind of just guessing that it might just try and set up Stealth Rocks, or something like that. Also, apologies for the air conditioner that you may see here in the background. I'm sorry, it's hot. But so I go for the Thunder Wave. Like I said, I do first turn. He sets up a Swords Dance, and I'm just like, holy crap, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I kind of didn't know. I was just like, wait, if he kills me, then red card doesn't activate, right? Or does it? Turns out, it doesn't activate if you kill a Pokemon, but at this point I was just like, A, I didn't really know that, and B, I couldn't really switch out into anything, because, like, what am I going to switch into against a Mew? I can't. My physically defensive mon is Venusaur, which is no bueno, and now this thing's at +4, so I can't really switch into, like, Porygon 2 or anything either, so I'm just Thunder Punching for days, hoping to get some full paras, and hoping not to get swept turn 1. Like, he's literally just setting up right in my face, and I'm just like, oh no, I don't know what to do. So, essentially, I just keep Thunder Punching and all that good stuff, as you see here, and he has a Citrus Berry, and I'm just like, that's kind of annoying, and he Baton Passes. I'm like, oh no, he's going into Mega Lopunny, he's going into Mega Lopunny, I'm going to be dealing with a +4 Mega Lopunny. This Electivire, with the red card, was designed to force out a Mega Lopunny, that way it can't set up itself with, like, Power Punches, but I didn't really have any way to stop it from being Baton Passed into, so we have a major problem. However, basically what happens here is he does go into the Lopunny. However, Electivire is faster than regular Lopunny. Now, I have all my investment in bulk, not in speed, so I'm actually slower, but he doesn't know that. He thinks that I'm going to be faster, and he already saw the Thunder Wave. And I do go for the Thunder Wave this time, I do believe, but because he's slower, he has to go for the Fake Out, and because I have max HP, I live, and the red card goes up. Get up out of here, +4 Mega Lopunny, you are not sweeping me today. Oh, but I was flinched, so Thunder Wave didn't go off, so it didn't really matter. But the red card just takes it back out to the Mew, and I'm like, alright, cool, he hasn't set up yet, I can Volt Switch out into something. And I know he has Swords Dance, I know he has Baton Pass, I don't know what moves he has, but I go into Arcanine, so he's already at -1. Perfect. And then he heals up, this is a -1 Mew, I'm a Choice Banded Entei, perfect. This is going to be great. He has to switch out now. He doesn't want to take a Choice Banded Flare Blitz. You know, there's no way he is staying in here. And you know it hits the whole entirety of his team for either super effective or really good neutral damage. Besides the Mew, close combat. So you know what I go for this turn? I go for that Choice Banded close combat. Okay? But you know what he does? You know what he does? He stays in, and I'm like, oh no. Oh, no, that was a crit too. And he sets up Swords Dance, and I'm just like, oh, no, I'm choiced into close combat, I can't stand. Oh, I made the most worst over-prediction of my life. This is no good. I don't know what to do, but he's +1. So we're okay for now. We're okay, and I've seen 3 of his moves. He only has 1 attacking move. It could be Psychic Stab, or it could be something else. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, that last move is Earthquake, but he doesn't ever go for it. So, that's just a little insider secret between you and me. Because on this turn, I do switch out because I'm choiced into close combat against a Mew. I don't care about my close combat. I should have just went for the Flare Blitz. I just really didn't think he was going to stay in, but I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to go back into Electivire. There was a lot of other mons I could have gone into, but I was just like, you know what? If he breaks through and kills me, I'll at least get a clean switch into something else. However, I am faster than him, so I can't Thunder Wave on anything coming in. If he wants to try and set up and Baton Pass back into Mega Lopunny, he can actually do that. But we get another full para, and that really helps us out. I was kind of banking on some of these full paras to help me out at this point. I didn't put Thunder Wave for that reason, but in the moment, I was just like, you know, some full paras could be really nice right now, because if I don't get them, then he could probably kill me. I go for the Thunder Punch, and I almost kill him, and he Baton Passes. Now remember, he's at +1, because the Intimidate went off, and he got up 1 Swords Dance, so he's only at +1. So I'm just like, okay, I can deal with a +1 Mega Lopunny. So he's going to take out Electivire, that's fine. Electivire, red card worked, kept us from getting swept, and I'd say Electivire did a pretty good job this week. However, now's the time, so what do I go into? I have my Scarfed Slurpuff, but Dazzling Gleam only does about 70, somewhere in the 70 to 90% range. It does not kill him. And I'm not ready to just let Slurpuff go down for no reason. Because at +1, I believe a return kills. If he was at neutral, I probably could. However, physically defensive Mega Venusaur does not care about your +1 Mega Lopunny. Okay, so he's going to go for the return, does about half. I'm going to go for that Giga Drain, does about on less than half, but it don't matter. I don't really have too many other choices. Sludge Bomb only did like a few percent more damage, and I kind of wanted health, so I just go for, actually I go for the Synthesis to try and gauge, like, could I outstall him, and it's just like, nah, return is doing about the same as Synthesis is healing. Synthesis might actually be healing a little less. That was actually kind of a waste of a turn, but I was just hoping that, like, something else would happen, but he's just returning till he dies. And I just go for a Giga Drain. Maybe should have went for Sludge Bomb. I don't know if that would have killed, but yeah. So now as a result, Venusaur is actually going to go down here, which really sucks. Mega Lopunny is still going to be alive, unfortunately, and Venusaur is going to be dead. But Venusaur got Lopunny down to a very low amount of health, so very, very happy about that. Now to scare him out or to kill him, I do actually go into the Manaphy because a +1 return does about half, which I'm okay with taking to get off the Scald or whatever I decide to go for. I did not want to reveal Scarf Slurpuff yet. I figured there was a better time for it later in the game, and let's just go into Manaphy and show off this threat, this absolute monster of a threat. I kind of do wish I went to Slurpuff at this point, just because I think it would have been cool. Even if he switched out, it'd been like whatever, but I go for the Energy Ball just in case he got cheeky and switched into Vaporeon on the Scald. But I just kill the Lopunny that was in front of me. So Mega Lopunny is gone, and what I'm assuming to be his main plan, his Swords Dance, Baton Pass into Mega Lopunny sweep, that cannot happen. Mega Lopunny is dead, and Mew is on very low health and paralyzed, so he can't really do any of those shenanigans, which is great. So we have a game going on now. I predicted the Giga Drain and thought that Porygon 2 was a semi-safe switch. I know that this thing could have a knockoff, but to be honest, Porygon 2, while being kind of important, is not the most important because it was mostly brought for Kyurem, which did not show up. So it's not like that big of a deal. The only special attackers are like Vaporeon, and then the specially attacking Tangrowth, but like, I don't know, I have other stuff for it too. I double switched into Arcanine because I thought that he would either switch out or I don't remember. But this time I go for that was a close combat again, and I take out the Mew. So now Mew and Mega Lopunny are dead, which is fantastic. And he doesn't really have too many things that want to be taking Choice Band in close combats. Tangrowth takes about 35%. And I think everything else is 2-hit KO'd by it, at least. 1 or 2-hit KO'd by close combat. I think everything's 2-hit KO'd because a physically defensive Umbreon does not actually get OHKO'd by close combat. So, he goes into Entei, and I'm just like, I don't have the Intimidate on him, so depending on what this Entei is, he could actually OHKO me with a Stone Edge. So I just don't really want to be dealing with that. Close combat is a 2-hit KO on Entei, but just not really worth it. So I actually switch out and go into Porygon 2, which at this point is just becoming Damage Sponge. After that damage, I know that this thing is not banded, so that's good. I do know that it is max attack, but that's about all I got. And he didn't burn me with Sacred Fire, so that's also cool. No residual damage on Porygon 2 yet. But, you know, it is whatever. He goes for another Sacred Fire, I just recover. Again, no burns. That is kind of unlucky for him. And, yeah, Porygon 2 is just going to do the Porygon 2 thing and, you know, be alive. Because that's what it's good at doing, is just not dying. But he switches out into the Umbreon as I go for the Toxic. And I'm just like, okay, well, this is cool unless he goes for Heal Bell, and I also get Toxic back. I knew that risk when I went for it, but I wanted to start wearing some of his mons down, namely that Entei, but unfortunately he switched out. All that good stuff. So, I don't want to deal with the Umbreon, with the Porygon 2, because I can't actually do damage to it. We can't really do damage to each other, so I didn't want him to start, you know, heal-belling up and wishing to his teammates and all that good stuff, so I go back into Arcanine, but he baton passes. So, we are just going round and round inside a circle, or in a circle, and, well, actually he goes out to Vaporeon this time, not back yet, out into Entei like I thought he was going to do. Then we would have just been in like a never-ending cycle, but, no, this is Vaporeon, and I don't really want to take a Scald because that does a lot of damage. Wild Charge is not an OHKO by any stretch of the imagination, plus he could be Wakanberry if he wanted to do that, and I just don't know if he is that yet, so I'm just going to switch out into Manaphy, which doesn't mind taking any of the hits, but he double switches out into Tangrowth, and I'm just like, at least I get some leftover recovery. That's about all I gain out of this turn. And I have to switch again. I just have to switch over and over and over and over, and I believe that this turn I go back into Porygon 2, and this time he knocks off my Eviolite. So it's going to be less of a damage sponge, but, I mean, what else was I going to switch into Tangrowth? I didn't want nothing else knocked off. I don't want my choice band knocked off. I don't want it. You got it, okay? He switches in to Umbreon. I go for the Tri-Attack, and we DC. We disconnect. Right here. Come on, do it. Yep, there's the disconnect. I don't want to play this again, okay? Let's go, let's just, like, hop into random turns so you can see something that's not, Windows Media Player. But that is where we DC. So, we recreate the battle, almost perfectly, thanks to this recording here. Trip was able to kind of see what we did, how to recreate it. Took us a little while, but we were able to recreate the, situations, and, yeah, so let's hop in what is now going to be, from my perspective, the rest of the battle, and it's going to be, post-com. So, let's go ahead and hop over to that and finish out this battle. Alright, so here we are. You see that I have a poisoned Porygon 2 without my Eviolite, and that Umbreon is also poisoned, and everything has been recreated almost to a T. We skipped over some of the para-hacks at the beginning, but the Pokemon that are dead, Pokemon that have damage on them, Everything is fine and dandy. Let's go ahead and finish the battle now that it's from my perspective. Yeah, so I switch out after I hit him with that Tri-Attack. I'm going to switch out and go back into Manaphy because Umbreon can't do that much. But he baton passes again, and I'm just like, bro, can you please stop doing that? But he doesn't. He just baton passes, and he's just like, Vaporeon! And I'm just like, oh, I can deal with that. I can deal with that. So I am going to go for the Tail Glow and be like, yo, look what I got. I got a Tail Glow for him, and he scalds me, and I'm just like, nah, no burns for you, because Trip has not had any burn luck this game, unfortunately. And I'm just like, yo, I got a Tail Glow. He might have Haze or Roar or something, so let me just get off some damage right quick. I go for the Energy Ball, look at how much damage that does, and he does go for Roar, so good thing I did not get greedy and try to set up an Energy Ball. I learned my lesson week 1 when I tried to set up too much, and then I got roared out. So, learned my lesson, but now Slurpuff is in, and I was just like, you know what? I wonder how much Slurpuff will do. The answer is, not that much. So, but he scalds, and I'm just like, ooh, that looks like I can take him out with another Dazzling Gleam. Maybe? I was like, I can definitely take him out with another Dazzling Gleam, and he protects. And I'm just like, maybe I can take him out with another Dazzling Gleam now? I don't know. It's my strongest move to hit him, plus I'm also choiced into it, but he doesn't know that. So I go for another Dazzling Gleam, and it does not take out the Vaporeon. And he goes for the Wish. Look at that, that's like a 1 HP, that has to be. He goes for the Wish. He has to go for the Protect this time. If he doesn't go for the Protect, then Slurpuff kills him. So because he's forced to go for Protect, I do switch out, and I do go into Arcanine. Because after he heals up, Wild Charge, he still doesn't want to take it. Okay? So he is going to do the Protect because he just had to. Like, it would be silly not to. So his wish came true. That's cool. But Wild Charge is going to, like, take away all of his wishes and stuff like that. But yeah, so I go for the Wild Charge. Last time I kind of over-predicted, and usually I do kind of over-predict, and I tend to switch out because I'm just like, oh, let me predict the Tangrowth to come in. But that was just like, no, I'm going to double predict you, and I'm going to stay in, predicting you to predict me to switch out. I go for the Wild Charge, and I kill the Vaporeon. So, that's super cool. Vaporeon is super dead, and we are super alive, and there's the Tangrowth, and I'm just like, ha, I knew you wouldn't switch into him before. So yeah, that's a thing. I go out into Porygon 2 to basically just let it die at this point. Maybe get off an Ice Beam or something first. To see what it is, what it do, but he withdraws. I go for the Tri-Attack, I believe. He goes into the Entei. And based on this damage, I went the rest of this game thinking that he was Assault Vest Entei. It looked like that Tri-Attack should have done a little bit more damage if he wasn't. Which he wasn't. I must have just misread the calc, or I misread the percentage, or something like that. I played the rest of this game thinking that he is Assault Vest when he is very much not Assault Vest. He's actually Lumberry. So in case that I did any sort of status there with the Tri-Attack or anything like that, he would have been fine. But I go ahead into the Arcanine because then I can get the Intimidate off, and then I can scare him out with a Close Combat, which I think I go for. No, I went for Toxic because I thought he was either going to stay in or switch out. I want to wear his team down, but you know, that was probably a silly move. I was so close to going for Close Combat, and I don't know why I didn't. I really should have went for Close Combat there, but whatever. I'm going to go into Manaphy, and he's going to go for Toxic, and I'm just like, alright. At this point, I kind of have to YOLO with Manaphy and do as much damage as I can before he ends up killing it. So, what happens here is I just go, screw it, I'm throwing all caution to the wind. Here, wind, have all of my caution. I don't need it anymore, because I'm going to go for a Tail Glow on this Umbreon, except for it's not going to be on this Umbreon, because this Umbreon is just going to straight up switch out. Didn't even go for the Baton Pass, he just straight up switched out, and I'm just like, alright, cool, but here we go, here's the Tail Glow, and I'm just like, yo, I gotta attack him, because, like, when is this going to happen again? He's not going to let me set up another Tail Glow for the rest of the game. It's not happening. So I'm just like, screw it. I'm going to go for Signal Beam and see how much damage we can do. Maybe he'll overpredict, something like that, but I go for that Signal Beam. It does a lot of damage, but it doesn't kill, meaning that this thing must be Assault Vest. Actually, it was a crit too, so that, like, this thing has to be Assault Vest. Maybe an especially defensive Assault Vest. And then he Giga Drains. Manaphy is dead, but I do get damage off on the Tangrowth, and now I can threaten it back out with the Arcanine, and I'm actually pretty free to go for a Flare Blitz here. Umbreon doesn't want to take 2, Tangrowth doesn't want to take 2, Entei is like, like it might be able to take 2, but it's like, I don't even know if it's guaranteed. So, I go ahead for that Flare Blitz, and it doesn't quite kill, and Toxic damage almost takes it out, except for Leftovers comes before Toxic, so that robs Porygon 2 of a kill that it would have gotten, and instead, I get to go for another Flare Blitz here, because same scenario as before, he still doesn't want to switch into it, and Umbreon's going to go down, and Arcanine's going to get another kill, so there's that. Umbreon is down, he is down to his Tangrowth and his Entei, I am down to my Arcanine, and Slurpuff is still alive. I believe it's 2-2 at this point. I don't think there's anything else. And I'm just like, alright, I need to figure out how to play the rest of this game. So, let me see. Let me go into the Slurpuff. He is going to go for the Bulldoze, which does kind of matter because now I don't outspeed him, and I'm just like, no, you don't understand my Scarf Slurpuff. But then he went for a Screen Speed, and I was like, well, it doesn't matter that much. This was a high roll. I'm telling you guys, this was a high roll. I went for Surf. There was, like, not a high chance for him to kill me there. based on what the calc was telling me. So, and now that I know that he was not Assault Vest, that Surf probably would have killed him. So I think that was a roll, but I could be wrong. And, but if that was a roll, then that definitely mattered. I go into Arcanine, I was just like, I have to close combat. That's the only thing I have. He makes the very smart play. Goes into Tangrowth, but at this point it doesn't really matter. I mean, if I went for Flare Blitz, then I would have had to try and take down Entei with Flare Blitzes, which maybe I should have done. But Close Combat just does so much more to Entei, and has a chance to kill him in one hit. But at this point, also like the recoil damage, but at this point, the damage is done. I'm at -2 defense. He is not intimidated anymore. He has the extreme speed, and he will be able to go for it, and that is going to take out Arcanine from where it is at. Minimum was like 65%, now it's at like 55% health, so that one was guaranteed to take me out, and we lose against Trip. That is a 1-0 victory in his favor, and that was a crazy, crazy game. Trying to read each other, both bringing some really terrifying sets. There was just a lot to this game. Trip is a super fun person to play, but we do just narrowly get the loss. But if you remember, it doesn't matter that much, because we're still going to the playoffs. I have not seen all the results to this week's matches, but we will be in playoffs next week. I believe we are ending the season in second place. I don't know if we can end lower, because we have a really high differential. But I believe next week we could play one of 3 people. We either play Jack, just Weavile, which we played week 1. We could play Quill, who we played week 2. Or we could play Jim, who we just played last week. One of those 3, I believe those are the only 3 that we could possibly play. They're fighting for the last 2 playoff spots. One of them won't make it, the other 2 will. Trip will play one of them, and I will play the other. And then that'll be the playoffs. So that's pretty crazy to think about. We made it into the playoffs, so step 1, successful. We made it into the playoffs. Step 2 is to win the freaking TBU, which is our next goal. So hopefully we can do that. I don't know, but we are going to do our best. If you want to know who we're playing, make sure you stay tuned till next week to find out. That is basically going to wrap it up for this game. Guys, please go ahead and check out Trip. He was a huge help to being able to recreate this match. He was a super cool dude throughout the DC. All that good stuff. So, you know, please check him out. He's a real MVP, and he is going to end the season as the best team in TBU heading into the playoffs. So, please check him out if you have not done so already. And that is going to be everything. So, I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, guys, stay sly.